Hi guys, welcome to my weekly actors vlog, Lamb's Take. I'm Lamb, and I have been thinking a lot about order and justice, freedom of thought, abstract thoughts, the importance of artists, and what it truly means to speak up for Black people. So quite a lot of big themes there that I've been thinking about, which I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to start with reading you something which was published in an issue of the Liberation magazine. This was in June of 1963. I thought it was quite serendipitous to share it actually, because this is vlog number 63 and it's June. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'm gonna read you what Martin Luther King wrote, which is, got it here. First, I must confess that over the last few years I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached a regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in the stride towards freedom is not the white citizens' councillor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal that you seek, but I can't agree with your methods of direct action, who paternalistically feels he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by the myth of time, and who constantly advises the Negro to wait until a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. Some of the things that white people admittedly are more focused on in the whole discussion, which is about the looting and rioting, rather than what the efforts of the protesting is actually for. And those are the people that are the white moderates. They're exactly what Martin Luther King was talking about. So I read that from this book, which brings me on to my next story, which is when I almost met the author of this book. Once upon a time in 2018, I went to an event. It was at the Barbican Centre. It was curated by Create London along with some other companies. I'll list them out in the description below. It was a event called Panic, It's an Arts Emergency. And it was about social classes in the cultural and arts sector in our industry, basically. And there was a big focus on diversity in it as well. I went along to this event kind of hoping to have some sort of validation for myself, kind of find my place where I sit in this arts industry. And so diversity for me at the time served as a bit of a distraction. I couldn't figure out where it fit in the discussion, even though I was at the event. That was because of my racial bias. And I think I was kind of aware of it, but frustrated because at the same time, I didn't know what it was. I could have gone up to Rennie Edo Lodge. We were on the train platform after the event, and I wanted to go and speak to her, but I didn't because I didn't want to make a tit of myself. She was a speaker at the event. I don't know if I mentioned that. But after the event, she spoke at it. She was great. I knew she'd written this book. It was really fascinating to me just for the title alone, to be honest. But it was also the title that kind of intimidated me, and I didn't go up and speak to her. Kind of wish I did, because however that would have turned out, either she would have educated me. There's no two ways about it. She would have educated me, or I'd have at least had some sort of embarrassing interaction out of that, just showing how clearly white thinking I am, and that would have pushed me to seek out the book sooner and really done the work of an anti-racist so much sooner. Why I talk about this is because it's that anti-racist work which is really important at the moment. Well, just in general, I think this is like a mental shift that we need to make collectively. And the reason that I bring it up as well is because the working classes in the arts industry is a subject that I've really wanted to talk about continuously while I've been doing. It's kind of why I created my YouTube channel, but there's been something that I haven't been able to sort of get my thumb on, and it was something to do with this, because I saw diversity and social classes, like working classes, just completely separate, and I couldn't understand why both the subjects were at this event, and that was because of my own lack of understanding, and I'm realizing that now. And that's something that I want to highlight. Basically, the white working class that we hear about in the media and things is romanticized. It doesn't exist. These issues are a lot more entwined, and we are living in a system which stops us thinking about this. We're not given the freedom of thought, the time to think, the chance for abstract thought as well. That's why artists are important. And for me, there's commonality and a through thread with it all. And the reason that I bring it up as well is because I sort of touched on these points in an Instagram live last week. You might have noticed I didn't bring out a video last Thursday. That's because I prioritised this Instagram live, which is on my friend's platform. And yeah, and that's been posted on her YouTube channel. So I'll link that below, and I'll make some points in it, but this is a chance for me to sort of elaborate on those points. Why I think it's so important to share is because white working classes seem to be pretty angry. They seem to be pretty bitter. The other day I went on a video of protesters, and it was posted by the Sun newspaper. So I clicked on it and checked it out just so I could check out the comments and just see something different to my usual algorithm. And yeah, it was really bitter on there. One comment that stood out to me, which said, "Oh, it must be hard having meaning to black people, it must be hard having a monopoly on suffering," which is gross, and also just complete lack of understanding, because they don't realise actually how much of the black people's plight is also the white people's plight to an extent. But it's capitalism. Really, that's what I'm saying. Capitalism is built on slavery. So really, all of us white people are racists because we benefit from the system. So now we've got to be anti-racist to try and take it down. It's not enough to be non-racist these days. Well, ever really, because it's just null. It just means you're complicit. And so that's why we need to convert people. And I talk about the importance of artists as well, because capitalism makes a commodity of artists, or just doesn't allow that sort of creative thinking at all. Because artistry at the end of the day is not just being able to sing a song or do a dance or act in a film. Arts and crafty things that we consider to be creative. God, get my words out there. But it's just the chance to think creatively, to look outside of yourself, to connect with others, and empathy. That's creativity as well. And so don't let anyone ever lead you to believe that artists are non-essential. They are absolutely essential. And so with that, I'd love to hear your takeaways. Follow me on the socials at lambs_take. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You've been watching Lambs Take. You take care. Bye-bye.